Yo, what's up guys, Boogle here, and it is here, the top 5 hardest Manic stages. Let's get into it. Hold on, before we get into it, make sure you guys do subscribe down below. I see all you people who aren't subscribed and watch my videos. Just subscribe already. If you've been here more than once, what are you doing? Subscribe already. This number is proof. Yes, I did just expose you. But if it is your first time here, then I'll let you go this time. But if you've been here more than once and aren't subscribed already, what are you doing? Join the hashtag Boogle gang. Anyways, let's hop into the video. And in at number 5, we have Manic Eraser. Now this level barely made it into the list. The only reason this level is in the list is due to the peons in this stage. The gories in this level are no joke, and you will need some decently leveled units for this. On top of the fact that it's very hard to crowd control Manic Eraser without some RNG on your side, with your under knockbacks, little nice low procs, or whatever else you are using, it will just annihilate everything in its path. Another reason why this stage is at number 5 is because of the stage size, or the level size. So with Manic Eraser only having one knockback, and with such a small stage size, it is very difficult to keep him in one place. You're gonna constantly be getting pushed back unless you're using stuff like Cyberpunk. So you have to tear through almost 5 million health without trying to get this guy to hit your base, because you know damn well this man will one-shot the base and everything in its path. And the gory's job in this level is to do its best to push you back, and the monstrous buff on them makes it very difficult to counter them unless you have stuff like pizza or a cyber stack or your runner and wolf correctly cycled. Now the other peons aren't really too bad. The Ouroboros from Crazed Tank are still here, and the douches are replaced with cappies, and cappies aren't that bad to handle in this level. They have a pretty slow movement speed, they do have a decent amount of health and a decent attack, but they do have single target and they hit the unit that's closest to them. So as long as you bring 5 stallers or some decently fast ones, you should be good for the cappies. Manic Eraser is such a tank, literally, that it makes it so difficult to kill this thing in such a small level size without getting pushed back. So if you have Cyberpunk, of course this is going to be a lot easier, but try to do it with just your Runner Wolf and Little Nye and Bahamut, and you'll see how hell this stage is. Of course, the last factor that makes this level pretty decently difficult is the length of the battle as well. 4.8 million health is a lot of health, and if you aren't cycling your legends or ubers correctly, if you aren't able to stack up enough dragons, then this is going to be a decently long fight. So this is why Manic Eraser is at number 5 on the list. Although Manic Eraser is kind of difficult, it is not as difficult as the next cat on this list. Reason being is that you will need a little bit of boost in this stage compared to Manic Eraser, which is possible with all level 30 units. Well, this one, it is possible to cheese it, but doing it the normal way is a very painful experience with level 30 cats. And if you guessed it right, the unit coming in at number 4 on this list is Manic King Dragon. Now I already know what you guys are thinking.
Boogle, this level is cheesable. Why is this higher than Manic Eraser? It's so easy to cheese.
Well, if you couldn't tell already by the spot at number 5, this list is without the fact of cheese and overpowered ubers and extremely high boost. Of course, all of these levels are gonna be easy with those things, and some of them are even easy without those things. But disregarding boosts, cheese, and overpowered Ubers, which Manic Cat is the hardest out of all of the other Manic Cats? That's what this list is about. And on to Manic King Dragon at number 4. The reason why this is at number 4 is also partly because why Manic Eraser is at number 5, and that reason is these super buffed peons. The otters in this level are ruthless. They are super buffed and they increase on every single wave. The amount of them increase on every wave that comes, so if you do not take out the Manic King Dragons fast enough, these otters are going to stack up more and more, and it will be even more hell due to the boosts on these otters. And if you don't know how to cycle your A Bahamut or Chimera correctly, this level is going to be pretty hell for you. Unlike Manic Eraser, which is all up to RNG and slow procs and knockbacks, this is all up to you in timing your A Bahamuts and Chimera cycles, and also maintaining your cash every time for the next otter wave. Now, if Cyberpunk didn't exist, of course this will be higher on the list, but since Cyberpunk is a thing, this level became a lot easier, and by a lot easier I mean easier that it's at number 4 on the list. So definitely it would have been higher if Cyberpunk did not exist. There is people out there that still struggle with this level even with Cyberpunk. The otters are a force to be messed with. If you do not have enough AoE to take down the otters fast enough, there goes your cyber stack. So that is why this is at number 4 on the list, due to the damn buff otters on this level, and it is pretty ruthless with level 30 units in this stage. The level I do recommend to have for this is have your cyborg at least level 35, maybe camera at 35, and if you don't have Manic Macho legs at level 30, it's just going to be even more difficult. But of course, if you have Cyberpunk and you're able to manage the otter waves, then you should have no issue at all. That is why Manic King Dragon is at number 4 on the list. Now let's head on into number 3. This one is a debatable one as well. In number 3 on the list, a close one to number 4 and 5, it is Manic Flying. Now in terms of difficulty, number 5, 4, and 3 is very close in this list. In my eyes, Manic Flying is just a more grueling version of Manic King Dragon, where as you can use Cyberpunk to just long range crowd control Manic Flying the whole time, but instead of otters it is reindeers, and we all know how annoying reindeers are. But to top it off, in Manic Flying there is an alien boar and also a red boar wave. So on top of dealing with constant buffed reindeers and Manic Flying, you have waves of boars that you'll have to stall against, and they do push hard if you do not manage the reindeers good enough. But of course, with the right lineup and right strategy, you can effectively beat this level decently and pretty easily, I would say too. But if you do mess up in this level anywhere with A Bahamut cycles or cash, or even mistiming your Chimera cycles, the length of this level does add up very quickly, and it will go from 15 minutes to 20 minutes to 25 minutes, and the more you mess up, the longer this level will be. And this is one of the reasons I put Manic Flying above Manic King Dragon. This level is very lengthy and it does become very annoying. The difficulty is pretty much the same as Manic King Dragon. Some might say Manic King Dragon is harder, or some might say Manic Flying is harder, but in truth, we all know Manic Flying is the more annoying stage. And if you have things like Octo and Fishman, you can speed up this level, but of course, you cannot risk messing up Bahamut cycles in this level, otherwise Rain Ds will become a huge problem. And exactly like Manic King Dragon, if Cyberpunk did not exist, this would definitely be higher on the list, because you would have really no way of getting consistent damage on Manic Flying without long distant Ubers like Cosmo, or using an LD strategy, which is pretty risky for boar waves. But other than that, timing your cycles is very key in this level. Syncing up the Rain Ds is also a very key thing. If you take too long, the next boar wave comes and you have to deal with a boar wave with 3 Rain Ds supporting the boar this time. So that's why Manic Flying is at number 3. Now this is where the difficulty really ramps up compared to number 5, 4, and 3. Number 2 is truly one of the more harder stages, and you might be surprised, maybe not, but coming in at number 2, it is of course Manic Dark. Now I'd say this level's difficulty is pretty overrated. That's why I do have it at number 2, but for some people it is definitely number 1 as their hardest Manic stage, and I could kind of see why. The ruthless boost on the Shy Boys in this level, plus the backup of Neandum, which makes it very risky to use your run in this level at all, and other stuff that can knock back the Manic Dark and risk moving all your cats into Neandum's range. It is very difficult, but the icing on the cake for this level is the boosted JK Bun Bun. Now this is what makes this level a huge step up from Crazed Axe. The JK Bun Bun Rush Wave is probably one of the most difficult things to handle in these Manic stages. If you aren't prepared for it correctly, you are going to get steamrolled. And with iCat being outranged in this whole Bun Bun phase, it makes it to where you can just iCat your way through Manic Dark like you did in Crazed Axe. But the only reason I do have this at number 2 and not at number 1 is because there is a unit by the name of Sanzo that does exist now, and this unit ultimately does make this level a lot easier than it's made to be. Now that doesn't mean you're just gonna slide by this level once you put Sanzo in your lineup. There is a huge chance that you might need to get some higher level boosts on your attackers for this stage, because the boost on the enemies in this level is pretty hefty. Those Shy Boys are very strong. If you don't have decent boosts on your units, at least level 35 or 33, then you are going to struggle a lot. But of course, with some luck on your side, this level is definitely possible with level 30 units and managing money correctly. Though people do think Manic Dark does give a lot of money, this stage drops a lot of money from Shy Boys. Well, after the whole Bun Bun phase and the Shy Boys that come with Bun Bun, there is going to be a time where you're in a drought and there aren't any Shy Boys coming anymore. So if you used up all your cash during the Bun Bun phase initially, then you are pretty much screwed for the rest of the level if you cannot stall Bun Bun and kill him quick enough. But yeah, overall just a hell of a rush stage. If you aren't prepared quick enough, then you are going to get steamrolled without a doubt. And that is why Manic Dark is at number 2. Now, before we hop into number 1 on the list, of course, an honorable mention. Now, you must be wondering why the honorable mention is Manic Macho Legs, and I'm gonna explain that in this segment right here. Now, Manic Macho Legs, without a doubt, with no wave blockers, this level is definitely the hardest Manic stage in the game, and the only reason it's not on the list is because Octo does exist, and Octo does completely diminish this level's difficulty down to a stupid easy level, so that is why it is here as an honorable mention. Now, there is another unit that makes this level a pretty big joke as well, and if you've seen the Manic Macho Legs in-depth guide, you probably know what I'm talking about. That unit is Vendor Cat. This unit definitely does make this stage a joke as well, and due to that fact, it is why it's completely out of the list. If I were to rank Manic Macho Legs with knowing Octo and Vendor Cat exist, it would definitely be at the bottom of the list at number 9. But take Octo away, take Vendor Cat away, and take the wave blockers away and wave immune units away, this level is definitely the hardest Manic stage, and that is the reason I have Manic Macho Legs as an honorable mention on this list. I do think it does deserve that due to the sheer difficulty of this level when you take those things away. And now finally, the moment you've been waiting for, number 1 on the list. I'm sure you guys know it by now. It can only be one unit or one level in at number 1, and that is of course Ogre Island, Manic Island. Now, where do I start with this level? Manic Island is definitely the hardest Manic stage out there, and there are many reasons for it. First of all, if you do not have at least level 37 to 40 Cyborg, you are going to get steamrolled in this stage, and you probably won't even be able to hit the base. And the strategy in this level may seem simple, that you're stacking up just a whole bunch of burst damage, while the hard part is to not overstall in this level when you hit the base. You're in a situation where if you don't stall enough, your stack is just gonna get completely demolished by the Manic Islands. And if you stall too much when you hit the base, there is a Berserkery, and he will in fact hit a staller, and that will trigger waves, and that's goodbye to your stack as well. And you're probably wondering that you can just stick Octo in the lineup and all your wave issues will be gone, but that is not the case most of the time. Most of the time, Octo is just going to get completely trashed on by the Manic Islands, and this stage is pure hell with level 30 cats, and almost impossible unless you are using stuff like Ubers or some very good level talents. But level 30 units and no talents and no overpowered Ubers, you are pretty much not winning this level at all. Now, level 30 Manics can fill in some of those holes, but if you don't have at least level 37 units like Cyborg for this, you are going to struggle a shit ton. Not to mention the RNG in this level with the peons and the Manic Islands themselves with their crits, because if they crit, say goodbye to whatever unit they are hitting, they are going to die. And the key thing is that Drama Cats can survive a hit from a Manic Island, so if they do crit constantly, you are just going to get steamrolled, and that's the end of it. And that's not all in this level. The waves of islands do increase every single time they come out, and if you take too long, there is also an incremental wave of brawlos. So this stage does become very hellish if you do not clear it quick enough. Overall, a very shit stage that does include you needing some high boost for this level, so that is the sole reason why this is at number 1 compared to the other manics on this list, which are all very possible with level 30 units. This is the one where you absolutely need some boost, otherwise you are going to get steamrolled unless you have the power of very solid Ubers. But yeah, that was my top 5 list for the hardest manic stages. Let me guys know if you did agree with this list or if you didn't agree, and post down your list in the comments below. Obviously, all the manic stages are easy with the right strategy, the right units, Ubers, or some boosted gacha units, but this is without some of those things, and just to see which is the hardest amongst all of the manic stages, even though some of them are classified as easy, and most of them are indeed pretty easy. But yeah, drop a like if you guys did enjoy this top 5 video and you want to see more top 5 videos in the future. Of course, subscribe if you're new, join the hashtag Boogle gang. There's a Discord in the description below as well, go join that. And yeah, shout out to these LR members, by the way. If you want to become a member, there is a link in the description. You do get a pretty sick role in Boogle Cord as well, and also the perks offered to members. But yeah, shout out to the LR members. As you can see, they are on the screen. Huge shout out to them. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this, guys. It's been John Boogle, and see ya.